Drunk on stage.
I deserve to get drunk.
All right, welcome back to another episode of A Drunken Night Out. I'm your host, Ken Hamlet, and we are in the studio. This is actually the first time back in the studio with somebody. Actually, no, I had one episode. The clip went super viral, but I haven't had anybody back in the studio because I've been running around in the school year. So we're getting to the fun part where I get to record a bunch of shit again. But first time back in the studio. I got Dan Garcia here, very funny guy. Let them know who you are, where they can find you, all the cool shit, and then we can get into the...
Yeah, I'm Dan Garcia. You can find me on Instagram at InstaDanGarcia. That's the best place, even though I actually only post stories. Check out my stories. They're good. Great,
just no posts,
great stories. No posts whatsoever. So you got to check every day. Check it. Check that story out. Oh, yeah. And I run a show that's bi-weekly over in Chicago at Output Wrigleyville called Foreplay Fridays. It's a super good time.
Let me tell you, I've done the show. It's fucking insane. It is the most fun that I've had at a show. And the night that I was there, we had there's a clip that Jamal put out, the barmaid winches.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great time. I'm just saying it's a great time. Super cool location. And they built the shit by themselves. So major kudos to that because they had a show at a club. They moved their show and built their own stage, and they did literally everything by yourselves.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we contracted someone to actually physically build the stage, but we did talk about getting some hammer and some nails.
You should have just said that you did it yourself. You gotta lie, man.
The cost of wood is through the roof, man. I was like, I can't.
I'm not gonna fuck this up.
Yeah. No way.
All right, that's fair. All right. Any other cool stuff you want people to know about before we get into the...
Yeah, we've got some rolling papers, actually. That's really cool. We have our own brand of rolling papers called Smoking and Joking.
No fucking way.
That's great, yeah. So if you check out some head shops in Chicago, you might find them there. What? You could catch them and buy them at our show. It's pretty great.
All right, I know y'all smoke weed. We're gonna... All right, so I know y'all smoke. So what? I mean, you got tie dye on.
It's a dead giveaway every time.
What was why did you do papers? How did you get into that? What was the whole process on that whole situation?
So we just needed merch. I think every comic should have some kind of merch because people are like, hey, we want to support you. How do we do it?
Yeah. That's
like an instant way after the show. Here's how to do it. Even though it's a little hard, I feel like I'm a little Mexican kid selling chiclets on the street. Like, hey, $5. Hey, you know what I mean? I feel a little awkward, but we gotta do it. We gotta make money in this game. We gotta do something. Yeah. So we thought, hey, let's do our own brand of rolling papers. Jamal came with the name Smoking and Joking. Jamal Gushan, Real American Bad Guy on Instagram. He posts actual posts.
You see that, people? That's love.
Yeah.
He was like, let me shout my guy out while I'm on the podcast. That's love. Yeah.
He definitely he came with the name. But the idea was like, hey, let's put some comedy in here, like a Bazooka Joe. And I'm like, I'm not fucking Bazooka Joe. I can't write a fucking one line. But hey, let's throw a QR code in. So you buy our papers, you open it up, you QR code, now you're watching clips.
That's fire.
Yeah. So that's why it's Smoking and Joking. So you get high with your friends, watch some comedy.
Yo, that's next level smart, bro.
It's cool.
That is fucking genius. Whose idea was it to put the QR code in there for that?
Either me or Jess Mance. That's my baby on Instagram.
Dude, I love it. You're like, shout out my people, man.
It's the crew. It's the crew. But yeah, it was either one of the two of us. I can't remember exactly, but it really it's cool, man, and the art looks cool.
Yeah,
it's definitely a neat product. It was a little nerve wracking because I had to send it out to Indonesia to get made. I had to wire transfer like $800 something.
Yeah,
and it's like
that money's never coming back.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be like that jet.
It's like Indonesia. I had to go to the bank and sit with a guy to send this money. That's the you're not getting this back kind of shit.
The dude was like, "Are you sure you want to
Indonesia?"
Right? Like, the plane went missing, right?
Yeah. We couldn't even type in the address. We're like, what are all these? Is this the city?
It's like,
is
what? I
this
don't
the
know.
province? I don't know what the fuck. Yeah. So then I started sweating. And then a week later, I hear nothing. I was sweating. Then they finally were like, hey, we got some prefabrication photos. They sent in some really good looking photos and they made us a little box. it comes in a box, and then you just kind of fold it, and then it's like the box you could sell it in, and like has the yeah. It's pretty cool. So they did great work. So yeah, I got a papers guy in Indonesia now. You know
That's
what I mean?
fucking dope. That's fire, literally.
yeah.
That's dope. Are you guys? Is the plan to then branch out and have your own strain of weed at some point?
I mean,
feel
that
like
would be cool. I don't think any of us have any kind of green thumb, though. I don't think we could grow a goddamn thing.
All right, that's fair. I mean, you pay for the stage.
That's right. I got an Indonesia guy.
I don't think that's legal. I don't think you can send that in the mail.
Wire another $1,000.
You're like, hey, put something on the bottom of the box for us real quick so we could test that out.
Christ.
No, that's dope. I've seen like some cool merch. I've seen like I have shot glasses and some shirts and stuff like that, stickers. You know, the shot glass thing I saw somebody else do and I was like, that's cool. But obviously my show is a drunken night out. Gotta have shot glasses. But that's rolling papers. I've never seen that. That's genius. That's next level marketing. And then everybody's gonna be high. And who doesn't want to laugh when they're high?
Exactly.
Oh man. It's next level, dude.
And then, you know, even sometimes you're out, you're not selling them. You could give a couple of ways, like a business card even. It goes to a link tree that's got our Instagrams in it, you know what I mean? And then clips. Damn,
dude. That's fucking genius. Yeah, if I wish I had the little, my soundboard up there, I'd be hitting the applause button. All right, so are you're a smoker then? Or a drinker? Well, I mean, it's 4:00, we're drinking.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm guessing you're a little bit of a drinker.
A little bit of both, yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, I was definitely drinking a lot more when I started comedy, but I think you just, night after night after night, just wears on you.
Not me. I think it's called alcoholism.
True. True.
Just like,
I'm like, this is a lot of work, and you're like, this is delicious. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is a treat. So you dabble in both. What's your preference though? Like if you just had to,
if it was only one thing, it would be weed. That's kind of just like the baseline. Gotcha. But you know, it's really rare that I get like out of my mind high anymore. You know,
it's just not possible. Is that?
It might, tolerance wise, it might not be.
Okay.
But I won't smoke any amount of weed and go on stage. You're just not as quick. When you're drinking, there's a little bit of looseness.
Yeah.
Then there's a point where you fall off. Like people that bowl or play darts. They're like, I have a couple and I'm great.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only so many you can. Yeah, I've definitely, I went home one time. This is a story. I haven't talked about it because one of my good friends, Narin, he was, anytime I'm with him, he has Nar Bar where we just go and drink at his car. And he always has like hella liquor in his car. And so it's my first time back in a long time. And I was just drinking with him. We're fucking partying. And I just kept drinking. And I'll have like 2 or 3 drinks before I get on stage, and that's like fine. But that night I had probably like 8 or 9 drinks, and I was fucked up by the time I got on stage. And I was supposed to do 50. I did like 35, and was like,
my God.
I'm just done, yo. And it wasn't even like great. Like the crowd was tired. It was a long show, and so I was like, man, it was like I think it was like an hour and a half into the show by the time I got on stage.
Oh no!
And I was just like, bro, they're tired. They want to go home. Yeah. And I was like, I'm done. Like, I literally just was like, all right, wave the white flag. Like, I give up. You guys are good. I didn't even do my closer or anything.
Oh my God. Like, you're just like,
peace out, y'all.
Checks?
Yeah.
The checks.
So I owe that booker some money.
Oh no. But shit, that's just too long of a show. People do get fatigued, man. You can't
hold people hostage for that
long.
Hey, Keenan, I love you, dude. It was a long show, man. It was a long show.
It happens.
Yeah. No, I was fine because I always like going and watching. Like I'm a guy that likes to watch comedy. Do you watch everybody or you hide out?
You know what? I watch. I'm a supporter. I don't know. For some reason, like I try not to go to too many comedy shows because I've just seen so much comedy.
Yeah.
But if I'm there, I'm like supporting. Even when I'm at mics and stuff,
yeah.
Somehow it's hard for me to go talk in the back a little bit. I'm like trying to pay a little bit of attention. I got to leave entirely if I'm not going to pay attention.
Got you. Okay. So wait, how long you been in the game?
Well, like 5 years. 2017 is when I started.
Okay. 5 years is still, that's a
chunk of time. Yeah, it's a chunk of time.
That's a half a decade, man.
Yeah. And I started at the Mutiny. You ever do the Mutiny?
No.
It was just this disgusting divey bar on Western Logan Square.
Did it close during COVID?
It did.
Yeah, everybody talked about it. I never got to go to that.
or maybe just before. It was all around the same
Yeah.
time. But truthfully, it closed earlier than that. Turned into a members only.
Yeah,
key
that's
club.
You had to have somebody
That
to
was a
vouch
member.
for you to get in. Yeah. That's exactly. We're talking about the same place.
Yeah, that was a crazy time, man. When I started in 2017, and that was when I was really drinking.
Yeah.
I would bring this really nice camera in there. It was like just too nice. It was a $2,000 camera. It was like, why was I doing that?
In a dive
In
bar.
a dive bar. I was like new to comedy. I was like, everybody needs clips. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna help everyone.
I'm gonna be the guy that gets you the clip.
God.
Yeah.
I literally would. I would have people leave their emails, and I would send them.
Are you charging them?
No, free.
What?
I know. I was that new to comedy. I was just like bright-eyed, and I was like, this is a service. I still have some of this shit, and I'll occasionally send it to people, and they're like, dear God, why do you have this stuff?
Like, please delete
Please
this.
delete
Don't put
it.
this out. Yeah.
Because it was a Wednesday, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. mic.
Jesus.
It was a nightmare, but like a fun nightmare. Always like around 12:30 a.m. It would get like weird and funny and like out of control.
A lot of drugs.
Yeah, a lot of alcohol, a lot of drinking. We would get to go drinks out of there. We would leave at 2 a.m.
They give you a to go drink?
We were, they liked us.
Oh,
So they
yeah.
give us a to go 6-pack, right? To go drink in the
Drinks?
alley.
Or just like beer?
Beer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
beer,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
that would
yeah.
that'd be cool as shit. They're
Mixed
just
drinks.
Like, here's a margarita. Here's
6
a
old
tequila
fashions.
soda. Yeah.
No, we get some 6-packs to drink in the alley on the way out, which it can't be super legal. I mean, they gave it to us in a brown bag. We left with it. There's no estate that can get sued for any of this.
No, I think you're good.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I mean, Ed passed away. The owner, he passed. Rest in peace.
How
Ed.
fucked up would that be if you just fucked his
Yeah,
kids?
yeah, it's fucked his. I don't know. I was worried he was gonna leave that place to me because that would be terrible. That place was a money sink. It was.
Ooh, but you had to keep it going though. 'Cause
Yeah.
you gotta. It's a
I would have if he left it to me. We'd still have the mutiny.
there'll be a 10 to 2 mic every
Oh my
Wednesday.
God.
Jesus,
It was gross, man. One time, this is like the diviest bar I've ever been to in Chicago. I've never seen anything like this. It was raining, and every time it rained, the ceiling would leak. Right? They just put some garbage cans, whatever. So the ceiling would just be leaking, and that's back where we're doing the mic. This one night, one of the tiles gets so soaked with rainwater,
crashes.
falls down. So my co-host at the time, Michael Johnson, runs up and he starts pouring his beer on it like it's a fallen soldier. And then everyone from the mic starts pouring the beer on it. I'm like, are we in a bar? What the fuck?
This is a VFW.
What is
What's going? Damn. All right, yeah, you guys. That would have been a party.
It was a party, dude. It was a crazy time.
I don't think I would. I talk about Chicago all the time. That's a mic. Don't think I would have went to.
No, it was gross and dirty. You ever do Coles?
Yeah, Coles. I've done. That was one of the only mics that I would go to, only because there was an audience, like a real audience, and they stay there for
The whole night. Yeah. So we were like the anti-Coles, same night, same time.
Hilarious.
But the dirt.
Yeah.
There was one time I saw a fight break out by the pool table. Someone's up on the mic, and a fight breaks out, and then it stops, and we turn to it, and the guy was bombing, and then he's like, "So Pokemon," and then it just got this huge laugh, right? Because it's just
See two guys bare knuckle fighting. Yeah, they're just like, hey, so what about Pokemon?
oh my god, what a night after night. That was crazy.
Oh man, yeah, I feel like you definitely have some stories from. You should do a podcast that's just stories.
That's just from the
that
Muni.
night.
Yeah.
Holy
It was
shit.
out of control. I have footage of it, but I've slowly been getting rid of it because there was at the time I'm like, oh, this is Chicago comedy history.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is actually just an open mic on a Wednesday.
This went from being important to being like, nah, I should delete this.
Yeah, I should get rid of all of this shit.
I feel like I'm just wasting memory.
Why am I paying for this Dropbox? Like, what the fuck?
Just $10
I
every
need
month.
a terabyte of this shit. So I need to finish going through, but occasionally I would go through and send people their folders, be like, "Hey, you got a month. I'm gonna delete it."
Got you.
So if people could look at and most times
old
everyone's
clips.
horrified from their 2017
That's funny though.
open mic.
I feel like I would post those clips.
I think some people did. More people were like, "I say a slur in this."
Like, this does not fly in 2022.
It's like this isn't who I am. I'm like, look, dude, I didn't watch it.
Disclaimer, yeah. Like, I didn't watch this.
Yeah.
It's been on a hard drive and I sent it to
It's
you.
an open mic. You think I'm going through and watching an
I'm not
open mic
watching
from
this fucking shit.
No.
I just kept clicking fast forward 30 seconds until you were done, and then I cut the clip. And, jeez.
I watch myself host, and I'll be like, that was bad. That was, what a night.
Whew.
Yeah, that place. One time I was eating all these edibles. I was like, they're not working. And then I got up there to hosting, and I was like, oh, I forgot the list. And I looked down. I'm holding the list. I'm like, Jesus.
Like, I guess they were working.
Yeah, they are working.
They're pretty good, actually.
I was out of control. That place was great.
Yeah. No, I feel like you should keep some of those and like do like a documentary on like underground Chicago comedy. Because that was like a big thing too when COVID ended and everybody was like, you know, like Ravon was doing all those shows that were like underground. I think that's like a big part of Chicago comedy too. Like that's a big Chicago history. Like,
yeah.
There's like the mainstream and there's like the indie rooms and then there's like the underground side of things. So I think that'd be a cool doc.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you know, if I was at the time a little more savvy, I did try to get some of that footage, but I was just so new to comedy. I didn't know who was who or who, because you don't know what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah. If one of those were Hannibal Buress and you didn't even
We did have Hannibal come to the Mutiny one night, do 45. That was wild, dude. I think one of his old roommates, because, you know, he lived in Chicago a long time, was like, hey, Hannibal's coming. You guys still doing the mic? And we literally, everything was packed up. And we were like,
yes.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, Hannibal's coming through. So we literally set up like this little show. It was so goofy. We had a couple comics go on before, so it seemed normal, like it was still going on or something. And then he did 45 minutes. It was really fun.
How many people were there for that 45?
Everyone was messaging, so they ended up
so
turning
packed
out.
out.
By the end, there's 50 people in there.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, and I was bright-eyed. I bought tables for that place, my own money, so that there would be, because before it was just a pit.
Did you take the tables back? I would have definitely got those tables.
No.
I'd be like, hey, the doors, keep the doors open. I got to get my tables back.
I think when the place was going out of business, I'm like, you could sell the tables if you want. Just whatever you need to do to get back to even or something.
Yeah. Pay the light bill this month.
That place was crazy. It had like these ceiling tiles that had artists had drawn on that were like legendary. Some of them sold for thousands of dollars. Like really like old school underground Chicago artists. Anybody that was ever in like a punk band or a rock band between like 85 and like 2015 played the Mutiny for sure. Like,
that's dope.
It was one of those spots where like people coming up could get a chance. And I felt like the same thing for comics. But it was like, you talk about underground. This was like the sewer. You know what I mean? This was like,
under the underground.
It was under the underground.
What's that layer of the earth where it's like right before the core?
That's
what that is. Yeah.
It was gross, man. It was a gross place.
Damn. All right. Yeah. Man, you're part of Chicago comedy history.
Yeah. And I think the people that remember it would probably prefer it to be remembered.
Like, no, we're not going to talk about details. We just remember that it happened.
There was just as many good nights where I left it out of there, like that was great, to nights where I was sitting between. I was like, somehow I found myself like up on the expressway somewhere in like a little like concrete part, writing in my journal and crying. You know, like that's
Jesus
the kind
Christ.
of, it was drinking to like levels, man. It was crazy. Check my Instagram out. I think it's in there. One of the posts.
Stories in the corner.
Go back to 2017.
Does
it looked like I'm on an expressway. Check the caption. It was probably sad. He climbed up there.
That's hilarious.
A comic who shall not be named. I saw a picture of him after a mutiny. He had climbed up onto a billboard and stood on top with his arms out like Jesus or something. Like, how high is that, dude?
Yeah, that's insane.
It's crazy, crazy shit after the mutiny.
Oh man, I had a drinking problem. I definitely didn't want to be there.
No, hell no.
That's all right. You can pour another one if you want to. Yeah. All right, let's get into the drink the story part of the podcast. Do you remember the first time you got drunk or high? Which one do you want to tell?
You know, they both kind of happened around the same time. I was 13 years old.
Jesus.
13. And I was smart. So I was like a smarter kid. So I got into like preschool early. So like, for example, when I went to college, I was 17 still. I couldn't buy cigarettes in college because I was like, a year, in school
Yeah.
advanced, basically, the way it worked out. Late birthday, October 27th. So
Okay.
I was 13, but I was hanging out with people like 14, 15, whatever. So I was just young for the age. But we used to do this thing called garage hopping.
Garage hopping.
We grew up in the southwest suburbs. I mean, I lived in Chicago till I was 8, but like Orland Park, Tinley Park. And
Oh shoot, that's right around the corner. Yeah.
yeah. I grew up around there in around that age, 13. We would walk around at dusk and look for people who left their garages open, and if we could see a fridge, or if we could see a case of beer.
Genius.
Mental note, right? So then once it's actually dark, do that sweep again.
Open.
Go in there.
Man.
Grab that shit.
Criminals.
Yeah, and we run it out into the woods. We go drink in the woods, drink warm beer in the woods. Yeah, one time someone stole a cooler. I'm like, genius. Great.
You're like, you guys are over there trying to grab bottles. They're like, hey, so I'm going to put some ice in this and we're just going to make this a decent night. Yeah.
Oh my God. This one night, we're in this garage. There's a fridge up by the door. Oh no, there's 2 cases by the door that goes into the house. And there's a fridge right on the inside of the garage. So I go for the fridge. I open it. 2 friends are creeping up to go get the cases, and the door opens.
Damn.
And it's a woman, and she screams, right? She's like, ah, because obviously there's a bunch of people in a garage.
Why the fuck are these people in my garage?
So I just grab whatever. We run out to the woods, to the creek or whatever, or the meetup. I look down, I'm holding a 24 case of O'Doul's, man. Fucking O'Doul's.
Okay, guys, so you want to just drink and not get drunk tonight?
Oh my God. Later in life, I felt bad. I'm like, that motherfucker needed all them O'Doul's.
They just immediately start binge drinking again. They're just like,
I tried it.
God doesn't want me to drink.
It's day 1. He's like, I tried it.
Yeah, they just left their AA meeting. They're like, you know what? I still want the drink, but I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to get some O'Doul's and live right. The beers that were at the door, those are the ones they're getting rid of. They're getting ready to throw them away. And you're just like, no, I'm going to take your fake stuff. I'm going to force you to drink that. They're just like, well, God doesn't want me to be sober. That's the sign. Jesus. Ah, man, you're a piece of shit, dude.
Yeah, I was a bad kid. But the funny thing is I got really good grades. I was in advanced classes.
That's how it always
is. So
is.
no one had to ask me to do my homework. Like, my parents never would fuck with me.
Yeah.
Flew under the radar. But then I would like literally sneak out of the house at night and be like insane. Go drink in the woods, man.
Yeah. Drinking in the woods as a 13-year-old, dude. That's insane.
And around that same time as I met people that smoke weed. So I smoked weed for the first time, 13.
What was that like?
I felt like it was like flashes. I felt like I was like seeing still frames of like as time progressed. It was wild. It didn't work the first time for me though. It took the second time.
A lot of people are like that.
like that.
Yeah, my buddy I wasn't smoking at the time, but he was like, yeah, I want to smoke. And then he kept hitting it, didn't get high. And then they were like, they went and ordered. He wasn't ordering because it was a fucking weed man at the time because the weed wasn't legal yet. And he was like, called up the weed man, brought some more weed over, and then he smoked the second time and got a little bit high. But then he started acting like goofy as shit. Because then I'm guessing all the weed that was in his system kind of caught up. Yeah. And he just started being weird as hell. And I was like, all right, I got to go, man. You're being weird as shit. So yeah, a lot of people are just the second time. I got high the first time I smoked, like immediately. But I also smoked from a bong.
Oh yeah.
So it was a lot of weed. And I was smoking my track coach at Utah State. So yeah, it was pretty cool time. All right, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
It wasn't the head coach. It was the coach that no longer works there.
Yeah, assistant coach.
It was the hurdles coach for people that are out there.
Don't do the math. Look it up. Yeah. That's cool. Hurdles coach being like, get a little high.
Yeah, he was a young dude too, and so he was a beast. I love that dude. We'd party all the time. We'd just go to his house. He had a massive, which now thinking about it, how the hell did he have he had a massive house, like a fucking mansion size house. I have a big house here. It was way bigger. My house looks like the attachment to his house. He had a massive house. It was, we had a lot of parties there. A lot of.
He was an athlete too, a coach
exactly,
and an athlete.
Yeah, he used to be an athlete there. He was a hurdler and then graduated. He was like an All-American and then came back and coached. And so I don't even think he was getting paid to coach. So
just for the love of the game.
Yeah, love of the game, dude. and get
And college women. Yeah.
I was like, party with college girls and get people high. Yeah, I feel like it was mostly the college girls.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Let's for this segment, you got to make a drink. You got to make a drink. You put whatever you want in that drink. I mean, literally whatever your mind's desire. Put whatever you want, and then you name that drink. What are you putting in it? What are you calling it, and why?
That's good. It's been a while for me. I used to drink a lot of spiced rum.
Spiced rum.
You
know what? I have Zacapa 23. My buddy Will put me on it. It's all empty now because I've got a problem. We addressed it already. But I've been drinking. I was drinking a lot of rum too. It's not spiced rum though. I don't think it is. It's like tastes like bourbon more than
than a rum.
Yeah.
So there's always Captain, right? But I really like Sailor Jerry's. I always felt like Sailor Jerry's. It's like Captain Morgan. He had to keep his shit together and be a captain. This motherfucker's just a sailor.
He's
right?
just like, nah, I just got a boat,
like,
man.
I'm fucked up. So I would actually do rocks, Captain, and Sailor, and call it the pirate ship.
Pirate ship. That actually sounds like a legit drink.
Yeah, more Sailor Jerry's than Captain, obviously, because it's
He doesn't got his shit
Captain
together.
and Sailor's. Yeah.
Pirate ship. I like that. Do you have to drink it with an eye patch?
I think it helps. A little pirate flag coming out of it though would be legit though. You know, a little skull and crossbones.
Or if you drink it out of a pirate, like a eye patch,
like a little eye patch shot.
That's like a
peg leg.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta unscrew the leg to drink out
up.
of that. Yeah. All right, that's cool. Fuck with that. All right, that's dope. That's actually a good ass drink, and I feel like you've been trying to tell people about it for a while because you had that one canned.
I just always back when I used to drink spice rum, I always used to explain myself with the Sailor Jerry's. I'm like, everyone wants Captain. But.
Yeah, Sailor Jerry's is like Captain Morgan is cheap shit. But Sailor Jerry's is cheaper.
Yeah, yes, it's definitely cheaper. It's a knockoff.
Yeah. You got the.
If Aldi sells alcohol, I'm sure it's there.
All right, that's the clip. I'm always waiting for the clip. All right, Let's get into your last story. The crazy, the ridiculous, the most fantastic story of drinking and/or drugs or mix. You know, if you want to.
I think I'm gonna go to one of the college nights. As I just mentioned, like when I went to college, I was 17. I didn't turn 21 until October 27th of my senior year. Right, so that's like
no bars.
Yeah,
it's
crazy. And I was at Purdue. You could go with a fake.
Yeah.
You could do it, but I didn't have one. It was fine getting high. I had an apartment, and we drank a shit ton of a few things. Leinenkugel's Honey Weiss. I don't know why.
What is that?
It was just like a honey wheat beer that Leinenkugel made. I have no idea why we drink so much fucking Honey Weiss.
Never heard of it.
No idea.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the second thing was like disgusting, like MGD or something weird. Like some fucking.
Why mix that?
Like gross. I don't know.
You're like, hey, you guys having a good time? Let's fuck that up.
We had cases of the two. It's like, you want Honey Weiss, you want MGD. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh,
The genuine draft.
Good stuff.
So we was getting high and smoking at the apartment, and I lived on the second floor, 420 South Chauncey. Just happened
No
that
way.
way.
That's fucking funny.
Second floor balcony, and we're just breaking bottles down on the concrete because we're pieces of shit. I don't know. No fucking reason why.
Absolutely.
People live down there.
It's like there's no reason to do that.
No reason to be breaking these bottles like we are. No fucking reason. But we're getting high and we're doing it. And the next night, a friend comes over with a bottle of Jagermeister. And these guys were actually 20, or they had fakes. They weren't 21. We were like sophomores. They had fakes. He drinks this bottle of Jagermeister, or like most of it, or whatever. I've never seen anyone drink so goddamn much.
Jagermeister, though.
He goes out on the balcony, and he does this thing like he's going to jump over.
No.
And we're like, well, what the hell? And then he does.
No, it's all the glass still. No.
He jumps. He jumps.
It's like fucking WWE back in the day.
And everybody's like, what the fuck? And his buddy runs down there. They go down there,
Oh, man.
and they get him. And when we all run out on the balcony, and he's like responding. He's like He's like, oh, whatever. I'm fine. Whatever.
Second floor. It's not that
Yeah,
high,
not a
but-
big deal. And his buddy's like, oh, he's okay. And I'm like, you guys gotta go.
You just go and turn the lock like. Hey, you guys can't get back up here. They're like, no, stop playing. Like, no, the door's locked. I'm not letting you.
You gotta get out of here.
You're like, I'm a degenerate, but
Yeah.
you guys are a different level.
That was wild. And I work with this guy. That's how I knew him. I had like this job on the side of like some engineering, whatever. It was like car shit.
Yeah.
And he was an electrical engineer or something. So he was like kind of a smart guy. So the next day I saw him, and his hand was like a boxing glove.
Oh, geez.
You know what I mean? It was just huge. He'd
swollen
clearly
up.
broken it or something. And then he tells me, he gives me like a fucking Percocet or something weird. I'm like, what is this? He's like, to dull the pain of seeing someone like almost die yesterday. And I was like, holy shit. He says he woke up. He's like, did I get in a fight? I think someone kicked me in the back.
Like, yeah, you kicked you in the
kicked
back.
yourself in the fucking back, dude. Broke your hand. So then he comes over. He's like, I lost my hat. I think I need to find my keys or something. So we're like, all right, let's go check your landing spot. And I told someone else at work, I'm like, oh yeah, Pat jumped off my balcony. They're like, we didn't know you had a pool there. I'm like, we don't have a fucking
No,
pool.
It's
dude."
concrete.
Yeah,
Actually.
it's concrete down there. And then like a little hill, he went through a fence and then
Damn.
between some trees or whatever. When we brought him over there, he turned white as a ghost, man. Because he fucking could have died
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, that's insane.
Could have killed himself. And I would just lock the door, turn the lights out.
I was never
I
home.
would've
Yeah.
run around.
You're like, officer, I was asleep.
I was feeling bad about the broken glass. I'm like, our actions have consequences. We fucking landed in glass.
Yeah, Jesus.
Holy
That's like in a movie when they're like foreshadowing.
yeah.
You guys are just foreshadowing the death of your friend. Oh, man.
Oh god, it was wild. I just not being able to go to the bars. Like we had to just do whatever we had to do. There was one night where we were going to see Jason X,
Oh, man.
Jason
Yeah.
10, where he's in space or whatever, and we're shit faced. And I get this idea to start taping the MGDs to my leg and just wearing like big pants or something
Why not just...
to get him into the theater because we're gonna go to the theater watch it.
Yeah, I don't think you have to do all that.
No, definitely not. So I go in my room and you hear me start duct taping this.
How do you get them off
That's
when you're
the-
inside?
You gotta take your pants off.
Which is way worse
Yeah.
than just drinking in a movie theater. Like, hey, so he exposed himself to
Yeah.
everybody in there.
It wasn't a well thought out plan. So I'm strapping this, and all they hear is bottles break, and then I come out. I'm like, we gotta go. We gotta get the fuck out of here.
Oh, Dan, that was thank you for those great stories. Oh, man. All right, Dan, one more time. Let the people know where they can find you, all this stuff.
Oh, definitely watch my Instagram stories.
My-
There's no posts. You can look through the posts. That's cool. Watch the stories at Insta Dan Garcia, INSTA Dan Garcia.
Hell yeah. And as always, Ken Hamlet. You can go to the website, bigblackschlonks.com, or the Instagram, Ken Hamlet, Facebook, Ken Hamlet, everything. Peace out, y'all.